French President Francois Hollande says 3 French soldiers were killed in a helicopter accident in Libya during an intelligence gathering mission. They are the first confirmed Western military casualties since it became known that special forces were operating on the ground in Libya. French special forces, in conjunction with Britain and the US, have been advising forces loyal to Eastern Libya Commander Khalifa Haftar. They've been battling Islamists and other opponents in Benghazi for more than 2 years. French aircraft have been conducting reconnaissance flights since December.
Libya is only a few hundred kilometers from the European coast, and at this moment, we are carrying out dangerous intelligence operations. 3 of our soldiers who were involved in these operations have just lost their lives in a helicopter accident. I pay homage to them today in front of you.
Let's now analyze this issue further. CCTV's Kate Parkinson joins us live from Paris. And for more perspective, we are joined by Yasser Hakim in Cairo and Lona Shadik in New York. Thank you all for joining us. Kate, let's begin with you. The President Francois Hollande has confirmed the death of 3 French soldiers in Libya. What more can you tell us about this and the mission in Libya?
Absolutely, the French president saying that 3 French soldiers have been killed. Their helicopter shot down in Libya. He said that they were carrying out dangerous intelligence operations, but that's really all we know about what the French forces are doing in Libya. In fact, it wasn't until today that the French authorities officially acknowledged that there are French special forces operating in Libya. It had been widely reported previously, but it hadn't been confirmed by the French officials. So there's not a huge amount that I can tell you. We do know, though, that a militia group called the Defending Benghazi Brigade say they shot down the aircraft. They say the helicopter was belonging to forces under General Khalifa Haftar. Now, this incident really highlights the very complicated and secretive Western military cooperation with General Haftar and the very complicated situation on the ground in Libya. Haftar is an anti-Islamist who is opposed to the UN-brokered Tripoli-based unity government, but supported by the internationally recognized parliament in the eastern city of Tobruk. So extremely complicated, extremely secretive, but certainly from the French perspective, today marks a sad day, certainly for the French military, and the first official confirmation that there are indeed French special forces operating in Libya.
Yes, the UN is warning of more ISIL terror cells being activated across North Africa. How is Egypt likely to respond, especially given that it shares a border with a very unstable Libya?
Well, Egypt has already been affected before, and incidentally today, the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, in a speech to the newly graduated students from the military academy, he said that one of the first decisions he took when he was in office, when he received office in June 2013, was to fortify the borders with Libya to stop all infiltration of militants, and that one of the problems Egypt is facing now is fighting off terrorists who many of them have come through the Libyan borders prior to 2013. The Egyptian forces are trying to control the vast borders. It's not easy. We receive news every few days of people being killed or arrested on the borders while trying to go inside the Egyptian territories, or the other way around as well. But Egypt has been working with the Libyans as well, the Libyan army, especially Khalifa Haftar, on securing the borders and also on securing the military, the Libyan military, and helping the Libyan military in its war against ISIL in Libya.
Lona, let me come to you. What is the basis of the UN warning that ISIL could spread across North Africa, and what is the likely action plan to counter this threat?
Well, this came in a report from the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to the Security Council. And he said in that report that it's actually the recent pressure on ISIL in Libya, so effectively the success of starting to counter them in Libya, that is what is pushing them out of not only out of their stronghold of throughout Libya, but also across North Africa. They're effectively relocating and regrouping elsewhere in Libya, but also in neighbouring countries too. And he did say the defeat of ISIL in their stronghold of Sirte now does appear to be a distinct possibility, but also said there are up to 5,000 ISIL militants in Sirte, in Tripoli and in Derna altogether. So that is a lot of ISIL fighters to potentially be dispersed across Libya and elsewhere. Now, of course, Libyan forces allied with the UN-backed government in Tripoli have been battling to take back Sirte from ISIL now for the past couple of months or so, and that is what is pushing these fighters away, and it's led many of them to the south and west and Tunisia in particular as well. And it is the impact of those scattered fighters on other armed groups in North Africa that is a concern now for the UN. But in terms of what to do about that concern, well, really only the long-term solution really is only to find political stability within Libya and stopping it becoming a safe haven in the first place.
Kate, France has been hit by deadly terror strikes recently. How has this shaped its resolve to confront ISIL, and what should we expect going forward?
Well, yes, absolutely. Just last week, another deadly attack here in France. 84 people killed in the southern city of Nice. And although the authorities say at this point they haven't found any direct links between the attacker and the ISIL terror group, they do say that it was clear that the individual was quickly radicalized and was certainly inspired by ISIL. So they are treating this very much as a terror attack, and it has certainly strengthen their resolve to fight ISIL in their strongholds, particularly in Iraq and Syria. In fact, only today the government spokesperson said France and the US are preparing a joint operation to strike ISIL in Mosul, their capital, so to speak, in Iraq. And the defense minister earlier this week said even though it's not reported on a daily basis, ever since France has been part of the anti-ISIL coalition in the Middle East, they have been carrying out daily airstrikes. In fact, just hours before the Nice terror attacks, the French president said that once again France will be deploying its Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier to the Gulf, and suggested that there should be an increase of troops on the ground there to support the Iraqi forces and with training and backup as they make an assault on Mosul. So even before this latest terror attack here in France, certainly we're getting a strong message from the French authorities that they are determined to wipe out this terror group that has repeatedly now struck France and killed French citizens.
Yes, sir. Are we likely to see more foreign troops deployed in Libya? And would Egypt be willing to commit ground troops to fight ISIL in Libya?
Now, Egypt was one of the first countries that have been calling for intervention in Libya, of course, in coordination with the Libyan authorities and Libyan army. It went with to the UN Security Council earlier in the year with the Egyptian foreign minister and the Libyan prime minister. They tried to garner support for a resolution to interfere in Libya and help the Libyan army either by lifting the arms embargo or by helping in airstrikes against ISIL, and that failed completely. Now Egypt feels that the international community is very late in intervening, and I think if there's a coalition, a certain agreement between several forces, Egypt will take part in this military coalition, of course, with the agreement of the Libyan authorities. Egypt already is providing technical support, logistical support to the Libyan army, and I'm talking about the one led by Khalifa Haftar, General Khalifa Haftar, and also has been offering training to Libyan personnel. It did not specifically say that it's offering military equipment, but forces are saying that secretively as well Egypt is also providing military equipment to the Libyan army. It's not confirmed officially, obviously. But yes, any sort of action, I think Egypt will be ready to take part in this whatever coalition that can help get rid of ISIL and militants inside Libya before they disperse even further away.
All right, so Yasser Hakim joining us live from Cairo, Kit Parkinson live for us in Paris, and Lona Shadik in New York. We thank you.